He's Grant Ramey. I'm Rob Lewis. This is the Exterior Home Solutions Fast Break on Volquest.com. And Grant, it was a wild one. I mean, I left Tennessee for dead at halftime.
Yeah, for good reason. Didn't have any life, weren't playing any defense. Gave up 44 points in the first half.
Most from the season.
Most of the season, second most and a half this season, and
the rebounding was my biggest David stat in the first half.
I mean, just about every stat category you could go down the list, they were getting almost doubled and dominated in. I mean, you just don't expect to see that at home. You don't expect to see that from a Tennessee basketball team, period, based on kind of what we've seen from this group this season, especially, or the Rick Barnes program over the years. So they had to find a response. They found a response.
I didn't see it coming. I mean, you see teams, play better in one half than the other all the time. But, I mean, Tennessee they looked lifeless. They looked disinterested. And, you never want to question young guys' effort. But, I mean, you look at it seemed fair to question the effort and intensity in the first half. They just didn't come close to meet what Vanderbilt was bringing to the table, and they could not have been more different in the second half.
And I think there was some soul searching at halftime. I think Rick said after the game, he said some things to Zakai Ziegler that he doesn't usually say. Mm-hmm. He said Zakai might be mad at him after some of the stuff he said, but I mean that's what. And then Zakai said he plays his best when he's mad. Like somebody pisses him off, he plays better. Like I don't know what got into them other than that soul searching. That it wasn't a bunch of ranting and raving. Rick told them you either wilt this time of year, or you grow. Which one are you going to do? Stuff like that, and they answered the bell.
Yeah, I did not. Again, full disclosure, did not see it coming in the second half, and they were brilliant. They scored 51 points in the second half, and we've both seen Zakai Ziegler play a lot of basketball, a lot of good basketball, and a lot of big games. I don't know if he's ever been better than he was in the second half today. I mean, 22 points, 4 assists, 7 and 9 from the floor, and played all 20 minutes.
It was corner threes. It was getting to the free throw line. I mean, it's a 2-point game with 20 seconds left. He drives to the
after a timeout. Call a timeout, draw it up for your 5'9" point guard.
Right, and I mean, and you had to keep making shots because Vanderbilt kept making shots. Credit Vanderbilt in your Rick Barnes voice because Mark Byington's an impressive coach. He's got an impressive team. They are tough. They make tough shots. Jason Edwards just kept making tough shots, and Tennessee kept finding a way to. It felt like in the second half it was so much harder for Vanderbilt to score than the first half. It just felt like.
I'll tell you, what alarm. I mean, I don't know, alarm. It was eye opening. The penetration, the dribble penetration Vanderbilt was getting in the first half. You just don't see that against the Tennessee team. And you had guards repeatedly getting to the rim, and that disappeared.
And you had Vanderbilt diving out of bounds for loose balls, and you had offensive rebounds, you had points off the turn. I mean, the game starts with a turnover, a 3-point play, and then I think another turnover and a Vandy three.
It was 6-0.
And 6-0 in a blink, and that was really the first 20 minutes in a nutshell right there. That set the tone. And then you get, 22 from Zakai in the second half. Chaz played really well today. 21 points, made a lot of shots, rebounded well.
Doubled them up, 20-10 on rebounds.
And Felix got angry and played really well, too. I don't know what Vandy did to Felix.
Jamai hit a huge three.
Huge corner three. And Rick Barnes kind of said, we were talking, what was that, yesterday, I guess, last Friday
on the phone
with Shaq, and told him to stay in the corner and shoot the three when you got it. He shot the three and he made it.
So, I mean, big picture, I mean, this was huge. I mean, you lose this one today, you're 7-6, you're going to Texas A&M, as tough as any place to play in this conference. I mean, right, like Coach said, I mean, regular season titles out the window. But, man, playing on Thursday versus playing on Friday in Nashville is a huge deal, and that is very much still in grasp.
Yeah, and you don't have a midweek game. It looks like this team could use a few days
off.
Igor didn't practice last week because of the left calf issue that he's got going on. But, yeah, there's no breaks. You go straight to A&M, the number 8 team in the country right now. They're about to go up. They beat Arkansas today. I don't know who they play in the midweek, but that's always a tough place to play, always a tough matchup with Buzz. And what's scary with this Tennessee team is you don't know how the ceiling is. It could be really high. You don't know how low the floor is.
Yep.
It could be really low.
I think you saw both today.
To figure that out. Yeah, you saw a glimpse of that today.
You played 40 minutes like you did today, in the first half, you're losing at LSU. Right. I mean, no doubt. I mean, no question about that. So,
I mean, in March, you can play the first half like that and lose to a 15 seed if you
100%
figure it out in the second half because of how the tournament, how it plays out, how nervy it gets as soon as you get down. So, like, you're going to have to find a way to find some more consistent basketball, 2 halves of basketball.
So, anyway, I mean, I thought it was a big win. I mean, I didn't expect it to be like this. I mean, Tennessee 14-point favorite. But, man, I mean, they're at halftime, and I think they were staring into the abyss a little bit and then, pulled themselves out. So, I think you made a great point. I think this bye is coming at a great time for this team, and you can kind of catch your breath and puch once more towards the end.
It's life in the SEC. I mean, it is ridiculous.
It is tough. I mean, we talk about it all the time, but it is ridiculous. I mean, it is legit probably the best conference in college basketball history because of ACC, Big East, they didn't have 16 teams
Right.
in the 80s or
And
90s.
they didn't have projected 14 teams in the NCAA tournament, or 13 or whatever
or
the number
six
is
of
right
the
now.
six of the top 8 seeds,
Right.
which is wild. All right, it's a great league. Tennessee survives; they keep their head above water. But as Grant just pointed out, it doesn't get any easier. He's Grant Ramey. I'm Rob Lewis. This has been the Exterior Home Solutions Fast Break on Volquest.com.